I will now read a joint statement on behalf of approximately 43, on behalf of dozens of allies and partners gathered here with me today. This afternoon, the Security Council voted on a resolution to hold Russia accountable for its aggression against Ukraine, to protect civilians, including children, and call for the facilitation of rapid, safe, and unhindered humanitarian assistance to those in need. The resolution was vital and it was straightforward. Fundamentally, it was about whether the countries on the Security Council charged with maintaining international peace and security believe in upholding the UN Charter. The UN Charter was written with the express purpose of preventing a war like the one President Putin just started. The war has brought, in just its first days, devastating losses of life, and Russia alone is accountable. President Putin chose to violate Ukraine's sovereignty. President Putin chose to violate international law, and President Putin chose to violate the UN Charter. President Putin chose to drop bombs on Kyiv, to force families to stuff their lives into backpacks and shelter in subway stations. President Putin is the aggressor here. There is no middle ground. We believe we have a particular responsibility to stand up to the violations of the UN Charter because Russia is a permanent member of the Security Council who is culpable. Those of us standing here today continue to believe in the Security Council's solemn duty and highest purpose to prevent conflict and avert the scourge of war. Russia has abused its power today to veto our strong resolution, but Russia cannot veto our words. And as I said in the Council, Russia cannot veto the Ukrainian people. Russia cannot veto their own people protesting this war in the streets, and Russia cannot veto the UN Charter. Russia cannot and will not veto accountability. We thank the member states who signed as co-sponsors of this resolution for standing with Ukraine and for the UN Charter today. We will be taking this matter to the General Assembly, where the Russian veto does not apply, and the nations of the world will continue to hold Russia accountable. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of our colleagues.
Yes, everything okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. What's going on right now?
Now it's battle for Kyiv, and this night it's very, very important for our country because the Russian troops circle the Kyiv and they want they want to kill all citizens in Kyiv, all residents in Kyiv.
So you've left the city?
They're underground in the shop. Yes. No, I'm not in Kyiv now, and I was part of Ukraine. But I ask all the world to help us.
What would you like to see done by the world?
I can't even imagine that I will be a refugee. And I want to say for all words that Russia is murder. And if you can stop them, they will come to your land, not only to Ukrainian land. And we really appreciate you say what you did for us, but we ask for you to close our sky, to help us with troops, to help us with weapons, to help us with military, to help us with medicine.
Well, the world's listening, and may God be with you. Stay safe, and we love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And please pray for Ukraine and for Kyiv now.
We will. All of us.
Группировка войск Луганской Народной Республики продвинулась на глубину до 21 километра и овладела населенным пунктом Трехизбенка. соединения воинские части Донецкой Народной Республики, прорвав подготовленную оборону националистических батальонов, продвинулись до 25 километров и вышли к Волновахе. В ходе боевых действий захвачено большое количество вооружений, поставленных западными странами на Украину за последние несколько месяцев. Среди трофеев американские противотанковые комплексы «Джавелин» и британские «Энлоу». Подразделения вооруженных сил Российской Федерации блокировали города Сумы и Конотоп и принимают меры по обеспечению безопасности гражданского населения, как в этих городах, так и в окрестных населенных пунктах. Всего российскими вооруженными силами выведено из строя 211 военных объектов инфраструктуры вооруженных сил Украины. Среди них 17 пунктов управления и узлов связи вооруженных сил Украины, 19 зенитных ракетных комплексов противовоздушной обороны С-300 и ОСА, 39 релационных станций. Сбито 6 боевых самолетов, 1 вертолет, 5 беспилотных летательных аппаратов. Уничтожено 67 танков и других боевых бронированных машин, 16 реактивных систем залпового огня и 87 единиц специальной военной автомобильной техники.
Coming in just as we come on the air tonight, Ukraine's president addressing the people of his country just a short time ago, warning that Russian troops are moving in on the capital, closing in on Kyiv, saying they could storm the capital tonight. And this evening, the breaking headline from the White House, the U.S. and its European allies now planning to sanction Vladimir Putin directly. Explosions breaking the silence after dark in Kyiv, and tonight it's believed the Russians are already within city limits in the northern part of the capital. And to the north of Kyiv tonight, these images, a government building on fire. And still, Russian tanks and military vehicles moving in all directions, these tanks moving toward the city of Kherson in the south. And the troubling image in a Kyiv suburb, look at this, posted online showing an armored vehicle there swerving and then rolling right over that car with the driver inside. Remarkably, that driver was rescued. And tonight, that call for all men aged 18 to 60 to stay and fight back to save Ukraine. They are not being allowed to leave the country. Ukraine's defiant president posting a video with his top officials telling the world, quote, "We are here," and that Europe said never again, but here we are. Tonight, that news coming in, President Biden and NATO allies freezing Vladimir Putin's assets and those of his foreign minister as well. The NATO chief tonight saying Russia has shattered peace in Europe and we must do more, even if, quote, we have to pay a price.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I wanted to actually start off with a couple of things where the military and also military aid is concerned, because we've had a number of guests on the show. We'll be hearing from people tonight in Ukraine or representatives of Ukraine, and they're asking for some really specific things. And I know you were, thanks for your patience, by the way. I know you heard that in the press conference, right? We know that they want the air above Ukraine, designated as a no-fly zone, but also they're asking for like helmets, weapons, ammunition. Didn't hear anything about that today. No commitment from the Canadian government to provide it. Where do you think the thinking is there?
Vis-a-vis the safe fly zones, the airspace above Ukraine being secured by NATO, not going to happen, I'm afraid to say, because we don't want U.S. pilots or NATO pilots to be in direct confrontation with Russian pilots. Because let's not forget, there's 190,000 Russians rampaging across the Ukraine right now, led by someone who's arguably a sociopath, but he has nuclear weapons. And by the way, I've never thought that we were closer to nuclear war, World War III, now than at any other time in my previous 35 years in the Army.
Oh. So the problem here isn't complicated. Joe Biden broke the oldest rule of all. Don't make threats you can't back up. You'd think he'd know that if he'd actually squared off against Corn Pop at the public swimming pool in Wilmington 60 years ago. But he never did. So he doesn't know that if you say something serious, you had better mean it. It is reckless to tell obvious lies. If you do that, before long, and it happens very quickly, in fact, people figure out that you can be ignored. You're not a superpower, you're a joke.